Before we even start the 5-5 notes, I want to go over a little review of fractions before we start, because remember, rational expressions are fractions, and in this section we're going to be multiplying and dividing fractions, which is a very easy concept. I just want to review a little bit. If you recall, if I have two fractions here in the first example, and I have 3 over 2 times 4 over 5, to multiply a fraction, all we do is simply multiply across. So 4 times 3 is 12 over 10, and then we would want to simplify taking out a 2, which would give me 6 over 5. But I want you to realize that if I have the fraction 3 over 2 and 4 over 5, even though they're separate, you could try to simplify anywhere you could. So for example, I can take a 2 out of here and a 2 out of here and leave just a 2 here and a 1 here. And then that would make my life easier, and now I would multiply across and get 6 over 5. So you just want to keep that concept in your back pocket, because when we do multiply rational expressions, it's going to be a lot easier to try to simplify first before multiplying. The second thing is this: if you remember, if we have to divide two fractions, the easiest thing we can do is keep your first fraction, change the sign to multiplication, and multiply by the reciprocal. So when I do that, I would get 15 over 20. If I did it without simplifying, taking out a 5 would be 3 over 4. Yes, I could take 3 over 5 times 5 over 4, and at this point, I could simplify these 5s and leave myself with 3 over 4. So either way, but it is something I want you to remember about fractions. So if we come to the notes about multiplying and dividing rational expressions, here's your multiplication rule, that if A over B times C over D, then AC times BD. You simply just multiply across. Your division rule is that if you have two fractions, P over Q divided by R over S, you can take PQ and multiply it by the reciprocal SR, giving you PS over QR. So let's take a look. We're only going to do a couple examples, and then I think you could go on by yourself. So if I look here, I get 7x squared over 5. I keep it exactly for fraction. I change the fraction, and I do reciprocal. At this point, I'm going to look to cancel. Instead of multiplying across, for example, I have an x here and an x here, leaving me an x. I have a 5 here and a 5 here that I take out, leaving me a 2. So my top's going to be 14x. Okay, I can even see that I have another 7. I can't. It does not matter if you cancel later or now. So I can see that there's a 7 there and a 7 there. So this entire thing just leaves me with 2x. If you happen to leave it, so you get 5, you get 10 over 7x, and you multiplied across and got 70x squared over 35x, you could also simplify that, give you 2x. So however you choose. Here, I'm going to leave the 5x here. I'm going to leave the 12x here because they're being multiplied, but now this sign will change to a multiplication, and I will flip my fraction. At this point, I'm going to cancel anywhere I can. I can take out this and leave me a 2. I can take out one of these x to the thirds, and it looks like it. So the top's 15, and the bottom is x to the third, if I didn't forget anything. Oh, I did forget something. 5 times 2 times 3. So this is actually going to be 30. 5 times 2 times 3, which is 30. Good job if you caught that. Okay, now we're looking at a rational expression that has binomials in it, and that's okay. We're going to do it just like we did 5-4, in which had expressions. So we are just going to factor. And I kind of refer to this as spot 1, spot 2, spot 3, spot 4. And literally all you're going to do is factor each spot in its own area. So I'm going to keep this as x minus 3, and I'm going to keep it over x. So I did that. Here, I'm going to factor. I'm going to take the f of an x, and I get x plus 3. And on the bottom, I get x plus 3, x minus 3. even though they're across, they're on different sides, it is absolutely okay to do this and this. As long as it's on the top, you can cross it out from the bottom. So this and this will cross. I have an X here and an X here. And now the only thing left in my whole problem is a 5. Okay. Look at another example. So this is a division. First thing I try to do is note that division, and I need to so by doing that, I'm going to literally write the problem. I'm going to change this, and I'm going to put this down here. So now I turned it into a multiplication problem, and I'm literally going to focus on fractioning all 4 spots. So here, I'm going to take an X out, I get X minus 5 here. Down here, I get X minus 2. And up here, I will get X plus 5 and X minus 2. We want to be careful. Okay, I want to double check. It gives me negative 10. It gives me a positive 3. These will cancel. These will cancel. This is a plus 5. This is a minus 5. They cannot cancel. So I have X plus 5 on the top, X minus 5 on the bottom. That's absolutely fine to leave for me. Sometimes the textbook would leave it as X squared minus 5X on the bottom, but I absolutely like it in factored form, so you don't have to do extra work. Please go ahead and try the next 2 problems by yourself. Please pause the video. Obviously, this is a lot of trinomials, so you got to watch your signs, plus and minus, minus plus, minus 6 plus 1, minus 1 and minus 1 is how I get a positive 1 and a negative 2. And at that point, I can cancel anything that is, it looks like only this can cancel, and an X plus 2 and an X plus 2. So I will have an X minus 6 and an X plus 1 on top. I will have an X minus 2 and a X minus 1 on the bottom. Okay, try the next one. Please remember on this video, on the bottom. These are both plus 3, so cancel here, minus 2, cancel everything, cancel, these ones are 0, it's a 1. Okay, the last step is all the ones. So we have 1, we can cancel anything. I'm going to flip this, I'm going to flip this, and I'm going to cancel. You can put all the M's together first if it makes your life easier, but I'm going to cancel this and this. I'm going to cancel this and this. Maybe at this point, I see it's a little harder, so I get 12m to the 3rd, 15m to the 4th. That leaves me an extra m on the bottom. Take out a 3, and it's 4/5. So that's okay. Now I'd like you to just practice a couple of these problems on a worksheet. Thank you.